I feel like a proper name for this movie would have rather have been The Fault in Diverging the Spectacular Now. Yes, that was literally all I could think of for this intro of the video, and I am going with it. Insurgent. Now, Insurgent picks up right where Divergent left off, and we see Beatrice Pryor. She is on the run from Janine Matthews. The whole Divergent dauntless crowd is on a hit list, and Janine has put martial law into place because she is about to define these divergents and stop them once and for all. Now, going into Insurgent, you guys, I had no idea what to expect. The trailers were a love-hate relationship with me. You know, I would see one trailer and hate it and then love the next trailer to the point that I didn't know what to expect. I was, going in hoping the best, but also fearing the worst. And maybe it's just because I have a soft spot for young adult book-to-movie adaptations, but I actually enjoyed Insurgent. And this movie's been getting a lot of flack, especially from critics. Critics just haven't been liking this film. But I keep it real and keep it honest and say, you know what, I had one entertaining time watching this movie. It is not a perfect movie, and we're going to get into some of those flaws. But no, at the end of the day, I actually enjoyed Insurgent. So let's go ahead and get into some of the positives about this film. The biggest being Shailene Woodley. Oh my god, I get so weak in the knees just thinking about how great she is. Just, yes, praise her. I love her. I love her in this movie. She is Beatrice Pryor. For those of you who felt like in the first film she was a little too abnegation, a little too stiff, you couldn't see that dauntless in her, she sheds all that in this film. She is completely divergent in this film, and I love it. And she owns the character, and I love the evolution that she gives her. Also, I love the tone of this film. It's definitely much darker and more intense, and I think that was definitely something much needed in here. There's no Ellie Goulding musical numbers broken out throughout the film. Also, the action sequences are really cool to watch. They're super intense. I enjoyed a bunch of them. For instance, there's a really cool action sequences where they're just running in the woods and they're trying to get away from Jai Courtney and his gang of bad people. Now, my biggest problem with Insurgent is kind of a problem with the franchise as a whole. I just don't feel like this is a franchise. When I went and saw The Hunger Games, I loved it. And then I went and saw Catching Fire, I was like, this is a franchise to be reckoned with. That this wants to stay and have a significant impact in cinema, and 15 and 20 years are over, we're still talking about The Hunger Games. 15 to 20 years from now, I have a feeling we're not going to be talking about Divergent. This is just going to be one of those young adult book-to-movie adaptations that just falls wayside. It won't be remembered as being awful like Twilight, but it won't be remembered being phenomenal like Harry Potter and The Hunger Games. And that's my biggest problem, because there are elements of this films and this series that work so well that it just needs to mature a little bit more, and it can become that. But I have a feeling it's not going to get that, because I feel like they're rushing these films. Literally, Divergent came out last year, and this sequel was greenlit, made, all that stuff within a year. I felt like had they given it an extra year, they would have fleshed things out. They could have worked on Allegiant a little bit more and flesh things out there, really work with that. So, for fans of the books out there wondering whether or not this deviates from the novel, I can tell you, as someone who's read the books, it does. It does deviate from the novel. But for me, personally, I've been okay with changes. If you're one of those people like, it needs to be the book, it needs to be the book, it needs to follow the book is the book, and I want to see the book on screen, then you're probably not going to like Insurgent. Now, I can understand when people tell me, Divergent is just a knockoff of The Hunger Games. You know what? You're right. I think the books do a much better job at diverging from other young adult series than the films do. So when someone tells me that Divergent is a knock of The Hunger Games, I'm like, yeah, you might be right. But don't tell me you don't have that knockoff shirt you don't enjoy. So yes, these films might definitely have a lot of similarities to The Hunger Games, but I still enjoy it. So as the score goes, I'm going to give Insurgent a 3.5 out of 5. So you guys, have you seen Insurgent? Did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on it? You all know the deal. If you could be in a faction, what would it be? I would totally be in Amity, and when they went to Amity, I was like, please, let this place be real. I want to go. So make sure to leave all your thoughts in that comment section below. And until next time, you guys, I'm the Slasher Movie Reviewer, and you guys have just been slashed.